The story Ranga's marriage raises a very important moral issue of a mode of communication in India and its consequences. In India, English is playing a role of lingua franca without any doubt. People think that English is a matter of dignity. We always treat English language as a status symbol, and with this mindset, we often discriminate the expression of the native speakers. Sometimes we often mix English language with our own native language and thus sometimes create a confusion in the mind of the people who do not have a proper hold over the English language, that means the native speakers. Indians' mind leaning towards the English language is one of the major themes in this story. This falsehood has been reflected well in the story. The second part of the story features Ranga, full name Rangappa, and his ideology towards marriage. The story is set when India wasn't independent and the culture of English speaking was negligible. The narrator very poignantly brought out the influence of English language on the way of life in the story. What I am going to tell you is something that happened 10 years ago. We did not have many people who knew English then. But it is different now. There are many who know English. In this part, the narrator brings about a comparison as to how things were different 10 years ago. In those days, very few people knew English. Though now in his village, many people know English and in every street of their village, people are seen talking in English. But this was not the scenario 10 years ago. People were reluctant to send their children to big cities to study. The narrator tells that it was the village accountant who was the first one to have the courage to send his son Ranga to Bangalore to pursue his higher studies. During those days, means 10 years ago, people did not know how to speak English. So obviously people never used to use English words while talking in Kannada language, their mother tongue. But things changed gradually. People start mixing English words with local language. What has happened is disgraceful, believe me. To illustrate his point, he narrates one incident that happened in Ramara's house. One day, a bundle of firewood was brought in Ramara's house, and his son came out and asked the woman, "What was the price?" When she said 4 pice, the boy told her that he did not have any change and asked her to come the next day. The boy told her that he did not have any change and asked her to come the next day. The poor woman did not understand the word change and went away muttering to herself. Probably she must be confused or worried about something, that she didn't understand the word. Thus the use of English words before a native Kannada speaker caused confusion. This shows the influence of English in the way of life of modern young educated Indians, which the narrator did not approve. He calls the mixing up of languages is disgraceful. The narrator also did not understand the word, and later he went to Ranga's house, and then Ranga explained him the meaning of the word change, and then he understood. In this story, the author Masti Venkatesha Iyengar is ridiculing the fascination of using English words in local dialect and spoiling the purity of their mother tongue. The author makes the reader aware of the fact that we are losing local dialect in our journey of getting education in English. In the story, he obviously satirizing, making fun of people who wanted to use English words, and just because they are educated, they wanted to use and show that they were in command of their vocabulary. It is disgraceful for the author to find the villagers forgetting their local accent and replacing those by English. So being a proud writer from the South, Iyengar was ridiculing this whole trend of mixing up of language and calls it disgraceful.